Again? I can't.
Ain't nothing new.
Hey, was there something you need?
No, nothing. What's that with the mirror? Oh, right. You see bushes.
You see a heavy steel door. The cobalt blue surface feels right. It leads to a side building. Adjacent to this one, the door does not.
God dang it. Once again, just basically like, not sure what the heck I'm supposed to do.
A
We have more
small
medicine.
cabinet on the wall is filled with various medicine bottles, nasal sprays, and blister packs. They all bear.
Okay, here. I hope Saint. Okay, here. I hope Saint. Okay, here.
Oh, I didn't
hope
realise
Saint
these were
Batiste makes
like
you feel better or something.
infinite. Okay, right. I didn't realise I could buy those repeatedly, but that's cool. We can stay healed, so that's something. You do anything new?
Right to work!
No. Maybe speak to Everett, I guess. Like I'm kind of getting nothing. The glass, I spit on the pillow, coffee table. Sad Renee died, I'll be honest. I've got anything that improves rhetoric? It's -1. It's +1 rhetoric.
You're back before the cargo container.
42.
Its
Wow.
drawer has not, despite the dirt
Wow.
that surrounds and trails you, a beacon of light emerges from deep within you.
Hello, is anybody in there?
The door stands silent.
Satisfied, detective?
Riot smile crosses the lieutenant's face.
Try again.
If there's someone in there I'd like to talk to you.
Just like that, you hear a click, then a rattle. Some mechanism unlocks itself inside the door.
Ahoy! Come on in!
Mega rich light bending guy.
You can't be serious.
Absolutely worth. Absolutely worth it.
The man stands at the far end of the shipping container. It's hard to say anything more.
What is
about him.
happening?
You cannot make out any of his details, but you do feel the overwhelming presence of capital. The feeling causes all the hairs on your body to stand at attention, like soldiers preparing for review.
Squint.
Something's amiss. The light beams bend around his face and scatter in 1,000 directions. It seems the laws of physics do not apply here. They're trying to visualize the physics at play is liable to give you an aneurysm. Don't think about it too hard. In the general stillness, only your tongue moves, flickering as you utter.
Hello?
Welcome. Come in. Make yourself at home. Sorry, I'm not better able to receive you. I wasn't expecting visitors today.
You can't hear him exactly.
What
Yet you're
is
able to
happening?
understand every word he says. It is very strange. An overwhelming hum covers everything. Voice.
Now, what can I do for you, gentlemen?
What you can see of his body appears composed in a sharp summer suit and yacht shoes. Who are you?
Who am I? Oh, I haven't been asked that question for such a long time. I don't meet a lot of people outside my circle these days. Anyhow, my name is Rustam Diodore, investor, license holder, and extremely high net worth individual. And you are?
Mr. Diodore, I am Lieutenant Kim Kitsuragi of the RCM, and this is my partner.
Harrier Dubois.
Pleasure to meet you, Harrier Dubois. I must admit, the name suits you very well.
How did you become so rich?
Oh lord, not this again.
What's the matter, Kev?
Oh, nothing. It's just that we've got this murder to solve, and yet you go around asking everyone about money. And every time I ask, are you sure this is related to the case, you say, sure, Kim, I think it is. And yet, it never seems to get us any closer to solving the case.
It's quite alright. I'm used to the question by now. To be blunt, I inherited my fortune from my grandmother, who herself was an extremely high net worth individual back in Graz. All I did was take her fortune and invest it prudently. Believe it or not, it takes more than a bit of skill not to blow a vast fortune on sailing boats, bad choices, and unsupervised state policy.
What's it like being an extremely high net worth individual?
I gotta tell you, at first, being rich is a lot of work. You've got to work hard because everything's so darn expensive. You know, prices increase exponentially at this income level. But then, once you've reached my position, it's nearly impossible for me not to make money. My assets are so diversified that I'm bound to come out ahead no matter what. Some of my lower net worth friends say to me, but doesn't that take all the fun out of it? And I tell them, not really.
You're right, capital accumulation is its own reward.
Precisely, Mr. Dubois. You know, I hear people talk sometimes about economic equality and fairness, but tell me, where would we be without liberalism? In caves, whacking each other with bones.
Just a bunch of apes duking it out on a giant ball.
Exactly. A world of slavery and violence, which brings us back to the essential truth of modernism. Where we are right now, the freedom of mankind can only be derived from the free flow of capital.
Man, being a high net worth individual sounds great.
It is truly. It's almost entirely carefree. It really leaves you time to better yourself spiritually.
Hey, all this talk about money has made you lose the thread. What is going on with the light in this place? That's what you need to ask him about.
What are you doing in this container?
Traveling. This is a great way to get around. It's fun, it's safe, and it gives me lots of time to think. By the way, let me now ask you a question. Where are we exactly?
We're in Martinez, a district of Revachol, the former capital of the world. We're in Martinez. There's a pretty good hostel here called the Welling and Rags. We're in Martinez, there's a cool church here. We're in Martinez, there's a creepy abandoned commercial area here. District of Revachol.
Ah, Revachol. I remember walking its streets as a teenager. There used to be a bowling alley in Stella Maris. I wonder if it's still there. It's a shame I can't get out and explore myself. One of the downsides of being an extremely high net worth individual is that mobs of low net worth individuals are constantly banding together to ask for money.
So you travel from place to place via shipping containers?
Smart, you know? It also provides a means to hide from all the targeted advertising we extremely high net worth individuals are constantly subjected to. Luxury yachts, high fidelity portable radio systems, hail-proof outerwear, and so on. It just gets a bit middle class after a while. A bit bourgeois.
And so you're being rich isn't worth. So you're saying being rich isn't worth the hassle? Yeah, it does sound pretty tiresome.
Don't get me wrong. They're nice things. But once you achieve a certain level of wealth, your time and mental space become much more important than material goods.
He speaks from the heart. He has very different problems compared to low net worth individuals such as yourself. For example, no problems at all.
Good, now we've sorted that out, let me ask you something else.
Go right ahead.
You're a rich investor, right? Can I have some money?
Could you please stop asking people for money? It does not reflect well on the RCM, and to be perfectly frank, we can't afford to look worse than we already do.
But Kim, I also can't afford to look any better than I do now. That's why I need the money. Oh, what? Wrong button.
It's perfectly alright. Based on your appearance, I can tell I'm dealing with a smart man.
Yup.
As you may know, us high net worth individuals do not have a lot of cash on hand. Investments and liquidity are enemies of one another. I think I only have coins for coffee machines. Here is 3 real. How much can you get for this?
It gets me almost nothing.
That's the idea, my friend. You've got to work for the rest. Maybe you can make that money grow. Come up with an investment plan. How's that sound?
This is a proposal, not a question. These ultra-liberal types love losing huge sums of money on ludicrous proposals. Ergo, you should come up with a plan that's totally dead in the water.
Present an investment plan that shows a fail. Present a sound investment plan. Go for the
What do
something
you
strange.
mean?
Well, I don't know how to put it. You look somewhat a little different.
Are you talking about my chin?
No, I mean, I can't even see you as if something has happened to the light.
Oh, that's what you mean. Yes, I've heard of this effect, though I've never witnessed it myself, of course. It has something to do with our Weiss-Wiesemann coefficient.
The Weiss-Wiesemann coefficient is a ratio designed to reflect the difference in net worth between individuals. When the coefficient is close to 1, or 100%, it means one person possesses all the net worth among that group of individuals. It's been observed that when the Weiss-Wiesemann coefficient reaches about 0.96 or so, the laws of physics begin to bend around the high net worth individual.
Are you telling me that you're so rich the light literally bends around your face?
Among other things. But calm down. I'm but a lowly single-digit billionaire.
I'm calm.
That's good.
Kim, are you seeing this weird
I
stuff?
see nothing of the sort. To be frank, all I see is a gentleman who's unusually well dressed for Martinez, in a cargo container, which I admit is odd.
Yes, I imagine that does look strange to you. My container. Thanks for stopping by. If you ever have an idea you want to pitch me, I'm all ears.
Do I have anything that boosts conceptualization? Yo. Yo. I love that the light is like actually destroyed, like just everything.
Welcome back, gentlemen. What can I do for you?
Wait, why is it gone low? It was higher before, what? I increased the stat, did I not? That's so strange. Huh. That's proper weird. Why did it drop so far?
Welcome back, gentlemen. What can I do for you?
Oh, I'm dressed as an inter business class, right? Weird. Where's why not?
Deploying high concept buzzword generator. All systems functional. Ready to engage in 3, 2, 1.
So why do I pass this BS, this nonsense, this shenanigans, but not a thing I need to actually progress the game?
It's time to disrupt the future. You've got to stay lean, innovative, and focus on what matters most. The children. Steal the union boss's idea, add a twist, and present it as your own. Very capitalistic.
You should invest in a youth center.
A youth center, huh? What kind of youth center?
A place to teach them practical skills like teamwork and self-discipline. Come on, tell him what he wants to hear.
One dedicated to instilling liberal economic values in children for low net worth families. One to inspire the future leaders of tomorrow's public service. You know, a regular youth centre with basketball courts and stuff to teach teamwork and other emotional skills. One to inspire the future leaders of tomorrow to public service.
I like that you're thinking about the future, but couldn't the center have a more economic focus?
One dedicated to instill liberal economic values in children for low net worth families.
Brilliant. Without children, who'll be there to buy stuff in the future?
Yes, and if it doesn't work out, we can always repurpose the centre as a shopping mall or private equity firm.
When life closes a door, it opens a window, yes? What's the expected return on this?
Highly educated, work-ready human capital ready to be directed toward any number of vast investments. With human beings, there's always a risk associated, which is why we've got to hold on to the centre itself as a fallback.
You're deep into ultra-liberal territory now. Good work.
Very impressive. You've got a natural eye for unusual investment opportunities.
Thank you.
I don't normally do this without a formal pitch deck, but to hell with it. What's the point of being rich if you have to follow all the rules? Here's a round of seed funding. This should be enough to prove out the concept and get things off the ground.
Thank you for placing your unwavering trust in me.
Remember, it's not a handout. It's an investment, and I expect to see returns.
The lieutenant stands there, dumbfounded. His mouth opens slightly, then closes again.
Look at the real number, by the way.
Is he having a stroke?
What do you think, Kim? Not bad, huh? Kim, are you alright? Kim, are you having a stroke?
Yes, I'm alright. Can we get going now?
Now, was there anything else I could help you gentlemen with?
We should head back to our investigation.
The
Thanks for your time.
pleasure was mine. Unfortunately, I must be away soon. The next time we meet, I'll be expecting an update on my investment. Farewell, friend, and may your peace of mind guide you to happiness.
What's this? We're getting reports of normal, reasonable, temperate, political opinions somewhere in Martinez.
That's me, Mr. Reasonable. Someone's got to keep it sane around here. That's because I keep saying none of the above to political stuff, isn't it?
It's also about that, but it's also more. Perhaps it's the hangover. Perhaps it's a temporary surge of serotonin, but something tells you it's time to become a citizen of the Kingdom of Conscience.
First, what is the Kingdom of Conscience?
It is not a place. It is a moment in time that can only arise in the right circumstances. In all of human history, it's only been achieved a handful of times.
That's an honourable goal. Nod your head approvingly.
It is, isn't it? History's greatest catastrophes have been brought about by people trying to make the world a better place. Too quickly. That's the genius of Dolores Day. She recognized that progress is meaningless if its gains are lost because of instability. Real, lasting change can only come about gradually, increment by increment.
Okay, but what's the Kingdom of Conscience actually like?
The kingdom is difficult to comprehend, and even more difficult to describe, partly because humanity will need to discard many of the categories that define and limit it today. The Kingdom of Conscience is post-capitalist, post-national. It's also post-industrial, post-ideological, and even post-sexual.
That seems fine. I still want to live in the present, though. Opt out. Opt out. Let's opt in.
Slow down, Mr. Reasonable. Did you miss the part about compromising and taking things slow?
Alright, then let's get there eventually.
That's right. Remember, real democracy is just around the corner for Revachol. When that real democracy kicks in, a long time from now, We are all going to be so much happier.
One more. Oh, there's a one more door thought. Ah, it costs the skill point to forget a thought as well. Ah. Temporary research bonus heads. Half light. Oh man, this sucks. I do not have a decent amount of real. Gonna equip my gun again just to annoy everyone. You know, just in case.
Mr. Dubois, a pleasure as always. You don't have to sit down this time, since you've already sat on that chair.
Remember the container I asked you about? Turns out there's a mega rich light bending guy inside.
Mega rich light bending guy? Oh my god. How did that get in there?
Slime like him must have oozed through the cracks. He must have been in the container when someone accidentally closed the door.
Damn it to hell, Harry. I specifically told my guys to check all the containers for mega rich light bending guys.
Nothing can stop an innovative mind.
Honestly, Harry, we might be moving a spot of drugs through this harbour, but I won't be caught transporting the light-bending mega rich. I have a reputation to protect.
Yeah, for God's sake, you're a socialist.
You're right, Harry. I am a socialist. I'm going to catch the mega rich guy inside the container and harvest his energy to power the harbour's fog lights. I shudder to think what you're going to tell me next, Harry.
Not for 1 second did he believe there's an actual mega-rich person somewhere in his container town.
Most certainly, Harry. By all means, Harry.
Right, can't get anything out of him.
Yes?
They're locked. I am once again running out of ideas. The annoying thing is I need XP. Like, I got 65 out of 100 again. Like, I don't know, like, will just enough time passing do it? Like, I'm genuinely stuck. Oh, but I removed my gun. Actually, there's the Kuno one available. Shouldn't have put all those points into perception. How did I have all these points that improve shivers, but like all these things that improve shivers that I didn't use for those initial checks, by the way? Like, really, really annoying. I'm so daft.
Oh, it's you again. Are you looking for a...
Aside from getting naked, you're not sure what else to do. The building holds no more answers for you.
Alright, failed that. Definitely not in here. The floorboards creak. Can I actually walk back out of here though? What's this way now? Poor animals, no rest for their bodies after death.
The barbell waits patiently on...
Right, physical instrument. Physical instrument. I don't think I have anything else that does it. No. Pardon me. Sure, let's
The
hurt myself.
barbell waits patiently on the floor, like a dog for its master.
How did I... What? You joke... What?
Conjuring up an inhuman amount of strength, you raise the barbell up in the air. Your biceps tremble, but you're a savage. This is a children's game.
I honestly hate this game. How do I pass this with 3% but not the one I need to progress? Wow.
A warm wave of accomplishment washes over your head as you drop the barbell to the floor. For a moment, it feels like you're strong enough to succeed at anything you ever set your mind to. Hey, but you're still in a ghost house. What if someone heard this? What if they know you're here?
Good technique.
I don't know, like, did that unlock something? Be nice if it unlocked it. No. I don't understand how, I don't understand what I'm supposed to do. Really?
Hello again, esteemed officer, and welcome to Crime, Romance, and Biographies of Famous People.
The
Though
book?
I'm very sorry, sir, some of these old paperbacks just don't have the durability. I would be happy to sell you another one, but unfortunately, it's the last copy we had in stock.
More questions?
Okay, but please, only a few questions. You
Other
wouldn't want to disturb the
wards?
spirits. Yes, the Simonees are very crafty, and their wards are extremely powerful. Lesser wards simply won't do here.
The woman looks aloof.
What if I want to buy a
Goodness,
book?
you were already doing good, browsing the shelves.
What
Why'd
type
you
of
stop?
books?
Everything is on the shelves.
She's attempting to mentally direct you towards the shelves.
Do you even know what
She
books you have for
only wants-
sale?
Truth be told, not really, but you
Right.
don't learn about the important
Wait,
things.
shouldn't
in
have
life,
stopped
and
keeping
I
all about our
provide a
wares.
valuable service. As long as people buy books, I'm fine.
She wiggles her bony
The
fingers
truth
at you.
is available if you just know where to look.
She smiles and nods.
Farewell for now. I'm gonna buy the other board game, I
A
guess.
small mountain of
One wonderful choice, sir.
In your hands, you hold a brand new copy of the game, Suzerainty. It's snugly wrapped in a skin of plastic. The cover features a charming illustration depicting a mass of grinning laborers loading goods onto a ship, while a richly dressed administrator oversees their work. The exact location and time period are left deliberately vague, but it's clearly meant to represent the economic relationship between the Revacholian suzerainty and its many vassals.
Shake the box. Remove the
The
plastic.
plastic wrap rips off as easily as a bodice in a tawdry historical romance. There's a hiss as the lid slides off. Inside, you find a thick, full-color rulebook and more than a dozen pouches of various wooden components. Savor that new board game smell. A mix of wood, paper, and ink, all wrapped in the sweet must of cardboard.
Examine
You
the
open up
components.
a number of pouches containing wooden tokens. There are also several punch boards with other cardboard components that will need to be punched out before you can play. You hold the open game box before you.
Hey, Kim, wanna play?
The lieutenant looks over the rulebook before he sees something that makes his eyes go wide.
Holy shit. The average playing time for this game is 1 to 6 hours. I'm not sure we can afford to set aside that kind of time
That's
for
it.
our game.
What?
Wow.
Does the lieutenant hate fun? Is he the fun police?
Who died made you the phone
The
police?
lieutenant gives you a sour look. He
It's
may
an
or may
82
not
persistent.
hate fun. Have you tried goading him?
What is this game? 72, 80%, fail, 3%. Pass it, mate. Double sixes.
In your dreams, maybe. I've thrashed my share of trash talkers before. Now come on, let's put childish things aside.
Ignore the mock umbrage. Now he wants to prove it. What is detective work if not an elaborate game? You
What
need logical inference,
What?
attention to detail, the ability to analyze your opponent's motives.
But a double six on a 92. Mate, what?
I do feel like my thinking has become somewhat rigid. Maybe a little diversion to keep the mind limber is just what's in order.
I can't deal with
See?
this.
He's doing the hard work himself. All he needed was a little nudge.
Alright, you've convinced me. How do we play?
We should probably read the rules, huh?
When I thrash you, I want to make sure it's by the book.
The
Ooh.
lieutenant flips through the manual more quickly than you're able to keep up with. Then you each take your bag of tokens and counters and unfold the board between you. In the center is the crown of Revachon. Radiating outward are her colorful vessels, each one supplying some raw material desired by the suzerain. Apricots from Safre, archaeological treasures from Ilmarat, sugars from the Seminine Islands, and magenta cocaine from Supra Muindi and Sara Maritza. There's also a neat little log to keep track of your progress in case you need to put the game away and return to it later. The lieutenant goes first. He draws a contract card and moves several of his workers to the Safre territory of the board and the others to the Seminine Islands.
Alright, detective, your turn.
You have a few options available to you. Will you try to fulfill contracts right away or rearrange your workers to maximize production on future turns?
Let your workers rest for a
What?
while.
It's the very beginning of the game. Your workers haven't even done any work yet.
Make them work a little, but not too much.
That's more like it. You produce a handful of archaeological treasures and a smattering of other resources. Meanwhile, the lieutenant spends 2 of his sugar and 1 of his apricot tokens to complete his contract card. He is rewarded with 4 coins and a round wooden token that he places in the center of the board.
That's a market. It's worth 2 victory points.
Glower silently.
The lieutenant returns your baleful look with a satisfied grin. Glancing over the board, you see several possible strategies. Pressing more workers into service would increase your economic output and help you to survive a possible conflict with the lieutenant. Or you could ignore your labor supply and focus on fulfilling contracts for points and resources. Those aren't your only options. You could also show your workers how much you appreciate them by investing some of that wealth in them. After all, They're the ones producing wealth for the suzerain. Well, sure, you can do that. It's just not a terribly effective strategy, but then it's up to you.
Focus on film.
Who
man.
cares about workers or territories when the real action is in Revachol? You spend your turns fulfilling contracts for sweet coins and one-time bonuses. After several turns, you have a neat pile of cardboard coins and several units of archaeological treasure, which you trade in to build a museum. You place a cylindrical piece of wood on the Revachol section in the middle of the board. It's meant to stand in for a beautifully adorned edifice filled with ancient wonders. This is more or less what happened in real life as well. To this day, if Ilmarans want to see their nation's priceless treasures, they have to visit Revachol, or Gottwald, or Sur-le-Clay.
Well played, detective. That museum is worth 3 victory points.
Now it's the lieutenant's turn to respond. He moves aggressively onto the Safrey territory. Soon, his workers are producing a steady supply of extremely valuable apricots. How can you let the lieutenant dominate you like that? You need to hit back, and hard. For several turns, you struggle to respond to the lieutenant's burgeoning apricot empire. Eventually,
Anti-skilled
you
labor
relocate the
confirmed.
majority of your workers to Supremawindi and Saramaritza, where they begin producing a bumper crop of cocaine tokens. You draw a new contract card. According to the text, there's an aristocrat willing to trade a large supply of cocaine for a number of coins and access to a rare bonus. Amplified music worth 7 victory points. You know, this isn't unlike the situation the historical Revacholian suzerainty faced in Safrey in the middle of the last century.
Tell me more.
Well, the suzerain was looking for new markets for all the cocaine it was producing, and it settled on Safrey. By introducing cocaine into Safrey under exclusive contract, the suzerain created an extremely valuable captive market for an extremely addictive product.
That's brilliant.
If you could somehow get the lieutenant's workers addicted to your cocaine, you could not only make them less productive, you would also force the lieutenant to pay you for your cocaine tokens.
Can you even do that?
Yes, you can. It's right there in the rules. You've reached a critical strategic juncture. How do you respond to the lieutenant's aggression?
Sorry, Kim, you're not going to like this. Introduce the lieutenant's workers to cocaine. He does not appreciate getting all his workers addicted to cocaine.
With each passing turn, you slowly bleed the lieutenant of coins as his own workers become less productive and more dependent on your magenta cocaine tokens. As a matter of historical fact, this is almost exactly what happened in Safrey. To this day, fully half of the former Safrey Empire remains dependent on international aid in exchange for a steady supply of cheap produce.
Isn't this what they did in the apricot suzerainty in real life?
More or less.
But he's thinking less about historical wrongdoing and how to get out of the jam you put him in.
Realizing victory is slipping away, the lieutenant launches a desperate gambit: protectionism. By erecting tariffs on your cocaine, he hopes to starve you out of the market at the risk of incurring the suzerain's disfavor. The end game is upon you. Do you escalate the trade war with the lieutenant in hopes of crushing him with your economic might? Or do you ignore his aggression and focus on building the mighty victory column structure in Revachol herself? Alternatively, you could throw the whole game away by trying to build a public education system for the children of your workers. The choice is yours.
It's on, Kim. Launch a trade war. Let's go for the
Building
victory.
the ultimate structure requires diligent economic planning, which you completely fail to do. Rather than build a glorious monument to Revachol's economic superiority, you have to settle for a handful of post offices and school for the blind.
A risky gambit, detective. Sorry it didn't pay off.
Guess I should have gone with a more consistent
That
strategy.
might have helped, yes. Now, let's tally up the scores, shall we?
Computing the final scores is almost a game unto itself. You each spend an inordinate amount of time making stacks of coins, consulting tables, and struggling with basic addition and multiplication. After double, then triple checking your maths, you have your final score, 15 victory points. The suzerain will not be impressed.
I've got 26 points.
Dang.
Don't be glum, detective. There's always next time. Figuratively, I mean. There's no way we have time to play this game again. Now, let's clean up and get back to work.
You hold the open game box before you.
Well, that was fun.
A small mountain of several maps. The maps look old and faded. This large map displays archipelagos. You see a constellation of small dots on the light blue emptiness of the Insulindic Ocean. The largest in the northeast is La Caillou. You are here. Another, far away in the southwest, Seminese Islands, Ile de Fantôme, Ozon, Laurentide, Fas a la Mer, Archipelagos, North Arcade Islands, all just specks of dust on the vastness of the Insulindic. On the edges of the map, the color fades into a blur of dotted lines, black and white, disintegrating into mathematics. In the northeast, a dust mite stands on the north coast of Caillou, in a bookstore. It's you, radiating outwards from you, the suzerain Revachol. With a radius of 80 kilometers, still, the crown jewel of this Isola would be barely visible.
Squint, can you see cities?
You can, on Caillou, Revachol, a single black star, on Ozon, Fondelier, and Vilmandu, on archipelagos, Croyan Moran, Villiers, on Seminine, Olduvai, and on Laurentide, Deora of the Seven Seas, lost little pearls of light, tiny fires in the dark. 850 million people live on these little dots, an oceanic world of culture and commerce torn apart by history. The ocean breaks apart into a tangle of cosines and azimuths, all pointing into pale nothingness. Windy is the north azimuth. Grad is the northeast azimuth. Samara is the east azimuth. Seo is the west azimuth. Isolas, they're called. Connections to other worlds. Words past the Insulindian, unknown to you. You only know you've never been there. You have little idea what they are. Distant stars, gods. But looking at them makes you feel almost non-existent. Whatever they are, the Isolas are immeasurably large compared to you, and very, very far away. Perhaps they are gods, gods of distance and outer dust. This bookstore is not strictly a...
Oh. Right, I think I've legitimately exhausted all the options in this store now.
The display rack is brimming with worn paperbacks featuring an extremely muscular sword wield.
Oh yes, certainly. It is a bestseller for a reason.
Right, both of those, pastime later.
Give up. You'll never find the answer. There's no other copy of Dick Mullen and the Mistaken Identity here.
There's got to be a way to solve this.
There isn't. If only you had more time, more resources. Who knows what you could have come up with? Maybe if there had been more money and less speed. Or more speed. Or that, yes. Either way, you might have been able to come up with an answer, but not like this.
Finished thought. Right, so I've got 2 more books to like pass time with, but if the checks never open, like if I don't know how to reopen them, I can't seem to gain any more XP at this point. I've got 65.
All around you, rain falls on the great city of Revachol. Rain drips from the eaves and floods the gutters, washing the filth away. The spring thaw must be here. The snow is melting. Looking up at the sky, cold water dripping from your hat. Grey sky like great battleships, clouds colliding with one another. Rain falls down on the world.
How does it feel?
Humid. Your coat shields you from the rain while the city shivers around you.
What's to the west?
Sheets of rain over the water. A flight of stairs leading into the ocean. Wave after wave washing the coast of Martinez, with its motorboats and gently swaying reeds. The ruins of a half-sunken sea fort crumble on an inlet beyond the Bay of Revachol. Ghosts rise into the sky.
What is down the shore?
Urban coastline, rain dripping off Eternite-covered roofs. Cinder blocks left over from half-finished construction. A defunct research and development building, once seized by revolutionaries. An old wooden church stands on stilts above the water.
And beyond that?
Coal City, end of all lines. Your hair is an oily mess flecked with ash from neighboring coal plants. Smokestacks rise somewhere in the distance.
This rain will not let up anytime soon. At least we are dressed for it. Let's keep moving.
Alright, that's 5 XP, I guess. So we still need another 30 XP. And that's just to have another go. The wind is corralled by the 4 stony buildings around the shard. Birds in a birch tree, barely audible coos come from above. Perceptions really like add so much to the game. It's very cute. It's definitely a bit of a quinky thing because the game has always made me feel like the cold breeze is enough to make the wall planks creak. I always felt like, oh, there's definitely like always somewhere to go, something to ask. You know, someone who can impart wisdom to progress a quest, but like this just does not seem to be the case. For some reason. Can I not walk past this?
A drop in temperature, an easy flow of air, an empty street. Before you, a thoroughfare unjammed with lorries. No more drivers smoking on hitch steps. Just silence.
What did the smoke smell like?
Chemically sweetened. Across the road, a forgotten bus stop. Corrosion has opened a hole in its roof. An elm tree watches over the building. Its branches are dripping with rain and snow. The road is smooth and motley. Craters filled with a black asphalt. The asphalt, first laid, is grey already. A row of tenements are under construction in the distance.
Who are the people who live across the road?
A tub warm with water, white with soap. A man bathes while radio waves transmit the lottery numbers. 4, 18, 21, 4, 1. A modern washing machine rattles a drawer full of silverware. His boyfriend is on his way home. He brings tins of meat and vegetables with him. Their pockets are heavier with money, but only slightly.
What about the bus stop?
Number 312D. Young girls used to come here, huddled up, hoping for more warmth than their thin coats give them. The bus took them to school. It has not run for 8 years. There were not enough girls to sustain its cost.
What about the road?
Craters pocked the surface. Children played in them until heavy trucks full of black pitch rolled in. The landowners have filled the craters with money. It is a vital artery of the flow of trade. There's one bump on the road. A dead dog lies flat about 200 paces away, right at the turn. Tragedy comes from the wheels of a fast RCM vehicle, hurrying to work. The cold washes over you. The sound of the sea has grown distant. The wind moves the aerosol. A detective stands behind the boom barrier. A breeze moves a curl of his hair.
Tequila sunset. I do, but as you can see, my fuel tank is running quite low. If you catch my drift, classy. The tale I'm about to tell you is an urban legend particular to Martinez. That said, I first heard it from a former bicycle courier in Koran.
Hold on. Wait, what is... Oh, hold on. Hoffa dropping the 5 gifted subs. My man, I appreciate you. All the subs are basic subs. I apologize if people had been sub before. That's the problem with Streamlabs, but Hoffa, I appreciate you. Thank you so much. As we desperately try to untangle this mess of dice rolls and stories. But I appreciate it. I appreciate it.
There are many variations on the basic story, and the details often conflict. What everyone agrees on is that nobody knows the exact nature or identity of the phenomenon.
Are you telling the story of the headless...
Shut the fuck up, Rosemary. Summer of 44. 17-year-old Gertrude Het is walking home from a late shift at the harbor. It's almost midnight. She stops for a cigarette near the canal.
The streets are warmed by a southerly breeze. The lights of a passing motor carriage bloom and fade in the distance. In the harbor's dark, her cigarette is a beacon, dancing alone. The image comes to you effortlessly, as though you'd walked the same streets yourself 1,000 times.
Don't go getting other streamers hooked on cocaine. Fair.
Our heroine finds herself enjoying the peace and quiet the canal provides.
He looks up to the skies as if searching for peace himself.
What she doesn't know is that her peace is about to be shattered. From behind her comes the clattering of hooves. Startled, she turns around, and what does she see?
A horse?
Well, yes, but it's the man on the horse that's of interest here. A man...
The pause is long and dramatic.
With no head on his shoulders. Wearing a found tracksuit, searching for the legendary found cap that went missing when he lost his head.
Wait, I thought the Found Rider rode a bull. Show him the figure.
I thought that he rode a headless pig.
The lieutenant says with a little smirk.
Well, there are many versions of this story. The most peculiar of which has the headless found rider riding on the back of another headless man.
That's super spooky.
Yes. According to legend, young Gertrude Het had to endure years of psychotherapy before she was able to look at a horse or tracksuit again. And she's one of the lucky ones.
Or tracksuit.
Gertrude Het may have been the first to witness the headless found rider, but she wasn't the last. Oh no.
Tell him about the two feminists by the locks.
Fuck, Rosemary, they were dating. No one said they were feminists. Everyone always misremembering this stuff.
This wouldn't be the De Ponte Delgado case, would it?
What? You know it?
I've read the case file. But please, go on.
Right. Early autumn of 46. Ula de Ponte and Eva Delgado are fishing near the waterlock long after the sun has set. The wind picks up. A sky already dark now blackens. Water starts falling from above. The first cold rain of the season.
Two women stand on a small outcropping of rocks. One of them is wearing a purple raincoat. Thin lines reach out from the rods into the sea. Small droplets start appearing on the surface with increasing frequency.
The women are caught in the downpour. They act quickly. Eva gathers the rods whilst Ula turns around to reach for the tackle box.
Don't turn around. Don't turn around.
When she sees something, her shriek is so violent that the residents of the nearby apartment building believe lightning has struck. But there is no lightning. Only a heavy downpour and the silhouette of the headless found rider looming on the horizon. Ula makes a run for the shore, but Eva slips on a wet rock and disappears into the cold, cold canal with nary a sound. Her body is never recovered.
What happened in the case file?
Naturally, Ula de Ponte became the prime suspect in the disappearance of Eva Delgado. De Ponte maintained that it was the so-called headless found rider and that she ran, fearing for her life.
He adjusts his glasses.
During the investigation, it became apparent that there was a love triangle, the third party being some small-time businessman. I don't remember the exact details. The leading theory was that an argument broke out on the jetty and De Ponte pushed Delgado into the canal, then cooked up this stupid cover story.
Was she arrested?
No. She committed suicide before she could be taken into custody. They found her in the bathroom with a rifle, her face slowly peeling off the ceiling.
Oh wow, okay,
Not
graphic.
a pretty scene.
Man, that's some grisly detail. Oh well. Here's to another case closed.
He takes a hearty swig from the bottle.
Anyway, that's the story of the headless found rider. Pretty crazy, huh?
Who was he before he died?
Well, Tequila, that's part of the legend. No one knows for sure. There are a couple of possibilities, though. Some say he was an undercover cop who blew his cover and got beheaded by the vicious gang he had infiltrated. Now he rides, searching for his lost-found cap, plotting revenge.
Oh, headless brother,
where art thou?
Others claim he was a professional jockey who veered off course during a steeplechase, ended up in somebody's backyard, and got decapitated by an exceptionally taut clothesline.
Can see that happening.
Personally, I think he was just some guy who hanged himself from a really tall tree, and the fall was so violent that his head came clean off. Coincidentally, at that exact moment, a horse happened to pass under him, and his beheaded corpse mounted it, where it remains to this day. But then, no one really knows.
For some reason, this does strike you as the most plausible theory of them all.
I've got to agree, your theory sounds the most plausible.
Isn't it? All the pieces fit together perfectly. That's how I know it's right. Anyway, to each his own. You want to hear any other stories?
I've already seen some weird stuff on this case. A headless jockey in a tracksuit. It will fit right in.
Hard to argue with that, I suppose.
That's the reality situation for you. You think you got a
That's
handle on
nothing.
it,
I've
and
got an even
blam.
wilder story.
Yeah? Why don't you go eat shit, Tequila? There's no way you know a better one than that.
The gnome dissolves his victims with acid.
Acid gnomes? Sounds like a stupid, low-concept band name.
Okay, whatever became of the headless Falan rider?
No one knows. Some say he stalks Martinez to this day, and can be seen near the canal when the clock strikes midnight. Ooh.
He won't, though, because it's just a stupid legend.
Aye. I saw him one night when I was right shit-faced.
Have you got any other urban
I
myths?
actually do have one. The strangest of them all. But I'll need to fortify myself before I can tell that one. Do you have anything to fortify old Doom Spiral? Tell me you got some story juice.
I don't have any on me right now.
If you find any, I'd be extremely grateful.
Okay.
Wait, do I not have any more alcohol? I totally thought I did. Oh no, that's strange.